I have been searching through a large number of videos on YouTube about how to find early stage tokens to make a lot of money, but I was unable to find anything valuable. So I am going to fix the situation, and today's video will be about where to find young projects and how to make money from it. Enjoy the show! Alright, let's get down to business right away. First of all, I want to introduce you to a platform called DexTool. DexTool is a platform that helps us track and analyze tokens at an early stage. There are also tokens here that have been traded for a long time, and let's quickly run through the content. Hey, see, choose network here. In this case, I've set up Ethereum network. Also, many other networks here, main ones being Ethereum and BNB Smart Chain, of course. Following that, we proceed to DexBoard, where we can observe sorting based on the biggest growth, daily losers, and tokens that have experienced the most significant price decline over a certain period of time. Recently updated social media, yeah, those are the social networks, Twitter, Telegram. When were they updated? Well, and the hot couple. This is the main section. Next, the main section I use is live new players. Let's also come in and take a look. The new players section helps us track new couples in real time. Here I also have Ethereum, so I'm keeping track of projects on the Ether. Hey, take a look. Here we have names of projects, lifespans of projects in minutes, hours, and other units of time. How many projects already exist, what is the price and initial liquidity, also what is the overall liquidity, and so forth. So in real time, we have the ability to jump into any token that actually appeared on DexTool just 1 minute ago. We can swing by and take a look. However, this token is not yet traded and there is no information about it. We also have a search feature here, so we can place a contract for any token. So he immediately gives us the trading pairs. We can go in and analyze it. Also, I want to say a few more words about choosing a network, why I mainly choose the Ether network, because on Ether, as it is a more expensive network, creating projects there is much more expensive and therefore there is less scam. For example, on the BNB Smart Chain or on other networks, there's a much higher ratio of scams to good projects compared to Ethereum. From the live new players section, we can see that dozens of new tokens appear every hour. But how do we determine which ones actually have something to offer? Yeah, which tokens can bring us some gains, and which ones are better to avoid altogether because they're blatant scams? Well, when I make the decision to invest in a shitcoin during its early stage, I carefully analyze it based on more than 10 different points of evaluation, and only then do I determine whether it is worth buying or not. I also try to evaluate the project from the developer's perspective. So, the more developers have busted their asses, spent time, and invested money in developing their project, the higher the likelihood that this token will show a good profit. Your observance is crucial. When you've sifted through thousands of tokens, you can immediately tell which one is worth buying and which one isn't. Your role is important in determining the value of these tokens. In this video, I won't go into all the ins and outs of project analysis because it would end up being very long. Let's take a look at two different projects in practice and you'll see for yourself where the good project is and where it's just a scam. Okay, let's analyze two projects for comparison so you can see all clearly. The first project is named Ginny. So, what can we say about Ginny based on what DexTool gives us? First of all, we see the name. It's unusual, not some kind of meme coin, generic Floki, Dogger, or some Shiba Floki, and so on. So I recommend paying attention to projects with some unusual name. Next, we see that he's got a profile picture. Also, we see that he has some links tightened here. So it's a website, first of all, and then it's Telegram and Twitter. To clarify, in order to include icons here, the project must pay money to the DexTool platform. Only after the payment is made, the platform will proceed to add this design, as explained in this story. This is also such an important detail. I advise you to pay attention to it. Next, we see a chart. I have a 5-minute time frame, and Ginny appeared on March 10th and started to develop. Well, I actually appreciate the chart. I mean, it's not just going up or some strange viral candles, but it gradually starts moving with corrections, even on 5-minute intervals, and continues to develop in the same manner and pattern without any sudden or unexpected fluctuations. And a little later I'll show you where Ginny ended up, or maybe he just skedaddled altogether. Let's hold off on looking at other parameters for now. Also, we see the total cost, which is how much money is currently in the project, which is $214,000. A green lock signifies locked liquidity, indicating that the money is secured within the project, preventing developers from accessing the liquidity and executing a scam. And essentially, we observe that their liquidity is blocked for a period of up to 13 months. That is a positive indication. Also, we see the 24-hour volume, which is the amount that the token is traded for in a day. At present, the amount is $56,000. That seems quite reasonable at the moment. Again, I advise you to pay attention to making sure that the volume in 24 hours is not less in total value, but it's even better if it's 2 to 3 times bigger. Also here we see the number of holders, 464. Sometimes this number is displayed incorrectly here, so I always check it specifically by viewing the contract. So we click on contract view and we get these genie things opening up, and here we see all the holders. Next we can also go to holders section and take a look at the token distribution. Generally, a desirable distribution would be no more than 5% per wallet. If, for instance, one individual possesses 10 to 20% of the tokens, who knows, perhaps this individual will simply desire to unload all and cause a price collapse. So make sure to pay attention to that too. Well, once again, we need to check. Here, 6%. That's not too great, but maybe it's some kind of marketing wallet for the developers, where money is specifically allocated for advertising. Up next, we have additional information regarding the smart contract in this section. We observe a variety of distinct parameters. We will not stop at that. The reason is because I highly recommend you utilize a service such as a token sniffer tool. What is a token sniffer? A token sniffer is a web browser that assists us in identifying vulnerabilities or, conversely, advantages in the smart contract of any token. Actually, not many people know about this service, and I myself didn't know before, checked through Honeypot and so on, but there is very little information there. In the sniffer token, we can see a whole list of different parameters, so let's copy the smart contract and analyze it through the sniffer token. I'll leave a link to the sniffer token in the description of this video. Hey, check this out. Here we simply insert the smart contract. Boom, it immediately pulls the token and we're in. Following that, we observe a score of 94 out of 100, which indicates a strong grade. My focus primarily lies on tokens that have a score exceeding 60 points. But you also need to look at the nuances, that is, the points that are spelled out here. You can just translate it through the browser here. Well, and basically we can read everything in Russian about the project. In this case, we definitely understand that it's not a honeypot, meaning it's not a scam that can't be sold. Also, we see that we have a 5% commission, which is a reasonable commission for buying and selling. A reliable source of the contract, waiver of property rights, or the source does not contain the owner's agreement. So basically the owner and creator of the contract, he refused it and he can no longer make any changes to it, meaning he won't be able to turn this contract into some kind of scam. That is a good sign. Additionally, the creator is not authorized to acquire special permission. We also see that the wallet contains less than 5% of the circulating supply of tokens. That's a good indicator too. And all the rest of the holders have less than 5% of the circulating token supply. Furthermore, we also observe liquidity and ascertain that their liquidity is locked and cannot be accessed for a minimum period of 15 days. The longer the lock period, the better it is for the project to pay attention. Overall, a really simple and convenient service that will help you instantly, you could say, determine a good token from a bad one. In this case, Genie has a good token sniffer. Also, I always check the project's website, to see how it looks, their Telegram channel, and Twitter to see if the devs are active and what they're saying. You can chat with them, find out about their plans, and see what kind of marketing they're planning. Marketing, by the way, is one of the main criteria that should be evaluated, because sometimes you look at a good project, yes, it has a good website, everything is done beautifully, but there is no marketing and it just rolls away, meaning its price does not increase because there are no new users. And sometimes it happens that the project itself is a bit weak. It may have a weak token sniffer and it lags behind in other criteria, but thanks to strong marketing, it just catches up with the community, people buy it, and the token price goes to the moon. That is the reason why it is also important to pay attention to social media and the manner in which the team develops the marketing aspect. Well, let's analyze the Genie charts and see the direction in which its price has moved over time. We were watching him right here, in the first minutes of his existence, and now we see where he's got his price. I take the initial correction on the watch, and from it we see that the price of Hayek was higher than 36 X's. Literally, well, in terms of time, it's been about a month. It was trading well in terms of time, but as you can see, it gave very large X's. To grasp a blatant scam, analyze SUE, a 5-minute time frame. Note that this token should never be purchased under any circumstances to avoid falling victim to a fraudulent scheme. From the start, we must note the graph, it's consistently rising. The corrections seem unrealistic, implying an artificially created correction. In essence, the devs are likely selling a few tokens themselves, creating the illusion that the token can be sold. Well, you simply compare the Sui chart and the Gini chart, the type of trades it goes through. Next, we observe he lacks a profile picture, and there's no design either, nothing fancy here. The total cost, mind you, is $557K. That's a pretty good liquidity for a project that's just starting out, and it already looks suspicious. Very few projects start with such liquidity. And by the way, I don't even consider a project with less than 10, less than 20,000 in liquidity, because if the developers couldn't even raise at least $20,000, what's there to talk about? Most likely, the project will flop. Also, we see the volume for 24 hours, it's lower than the total cost. That's a bad indicator. And here we also see the number of holders. There are a total of 49 of them. We can even calculate the average check for such a total cost, which means simply dividing this amount by the number of holders, and you will get the average price of tokens held by one person. In this case, it'll be a very big indicator, meaning it'll be about 10K bucks per holder, but that looks extremely unrealistic, while with Gini, their average check will be divide 217K per 464 holders, 1,000 on 464 holders. That's a pretty reasonable average bill. Next, we can also take a look at the token distribution. Check out the distribution here. 35%, 23%, 19%. Well, this is just hardcore. Actually, all of the tokens are held in a single set of hands. Additionally, we will soon witness the most powerful increase right here on the chart. Well, in order to top it off and ensure that this project is not good at all, let's simply analyze the sniffer token, shall we? We'll also deploy the smart contract, and we see that he immediately warns that this token has been flagged due to evidence of an error, hack, or fraud. Well, and the corresponding assessment. Hey, check this out. So, as you can see, we're looking at a combination of factors. Now I have demonstrated the fundamental aspects that require your attention in order to avoid falling victim to a scam. Well, nonetheless, you can already figure out which project is good and has potential for big bucks, and which project is just, well, an obvious scam. Additionally, I will show you a few projects that I have been working on this month and the profit they have brought, so you can see what kind of bucks are being made in this field. The first token is called Baby BNB Tiger. I also talked about it on my Instagram. When I bought it right on the listing, and during the listing I made 8x's, but I didn't hold on to it. Such a good lesson about always leaving some percentage of tokens, not selling everything but keeping it for the long term. Why? Because Baby BNB Tiger, for example, if I held on to it until Taloff, it would have brought me peaks. Well, it doesn't show here, but you can see that it ate up 2 zeros. Well, and there's some more, so in fact it gave 300 x's from my entry point. Well, that's just insane. By investing $100, you can literally take out $30,000 in a month. So there's this project SafeGrow. Well, it used to exist. Yeah, now you can see its chart went downhill. And basically, 99% of tokens roll down to zero in the first month of their existence. So we need to get in on time and get out on time. That is, take our profit. You should never hold Datalovo under any circumstances, hoping that it is the future Dogecoin cryptocurrency. No, if you have the urge to try your luck again, like you did with Baby BNB Tiger, leave around 5%, maybe 10%, but always ensure to lock in the profit. SafeGrow, as we can see, also flew pretty well, and from the entry point it gave 46 x's at its peaks. This all happened real quick, like in just a week. There's also this project called BART. I bought it, got some good x's, but it went bust. Yeah, also took all the investments and it skyrocketed even higher. On the peaks it was giving approximately 13 x's already, and it is still being traded, so it is like a long-term project, or at least it appears to be. There's this project called Zeus. Zeus turned out to be a pretty decent rocket too, but from the green line, yeah, also a potential entry point. He was giving over 10x on peaks and is still trading to this day. Well, and take note, he already has both CoinGecko and CoinMarketCap. That's also a good sign. There's also this project called Race, but honestly I don't think it will make a name for itself in the future. Most likely they will catch up with him soon, but you could also pick up the X's here. In this case, there is a green line here. Usually I always take tokens from the first corrections, yeah, serious ones. I never get anything for free there. There are, of course, exceptions, but if you want to make money, it's important to follow a certain risk management. And here at its peak, it gave more than 7x. And there are many more tokens like this. You can make a ton of money in a short amount of time here, if you know how to analyze these projects and also practice proper risk management. In no way do I recommend buying the tokens I just showed you, because they have already shot their load, they have already given a large number of X's, and most likely they will soon be rolled over as well. But in order to understand the principle, why they actually gave such X's, you can also go in, find them by name, analyze, social networks, website, Telegram, Twitter. Please check out the other parameters we have covered today and make sure to do your own research, so to speak. I won't drag out this video, that's all for today. I tried to give you a glimpse, so to speak, behind the scenes of how to find projects like these, how to analyze them. That's the extra big part. And in case you are interested in obtaining even more information on this topic, kindly leave your comment below the video. And be sure to give it a like, it will help promote my channel. It's a little motivation for me. We're not saying goodbye to you. See you soon.